Hello, YouTube, and hello, Pokemaniacs. I'm Natanis Likens, and today I've got kind of an interesting thing that I want to do. This is not going to be a full-on playthrough of Pokemon Silver, as you can see up there in the middle of the graphic. Instead, we are here in an emulator for a very, very specific reason. And even more so specifically in silver, uh, for the gold and silver games. But why are we here? Before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about my history with Pokemon. So I played the original Red and Blue on the Game Boy and Black and White. Been playing them ever since, and on screen you can actually see a few of them. So top right there we have Charizard. Charizard is not my very first Pokemon. Charmander is the one that became my favorite, but it is not my first Pokemon in the entire series. My first Pokemon actually was Bulbasaur. Um, so back in Red and Blue, Bulbasaur was my original first Pokemon, and it did it was good. Against Brock, it was absolutely amazing. Probably, I was gonna say better than Squirtle, but against Brock, Squirtle or Bulbasaur is actually the two best picks. And then against Misty, Bulbasaur was also really good. However, if you know anything about all the gym leaders, that's about the only two that Bulbasaur is worth anything against. Uh, yeah, so I quickly decided to not use Bulbasaur, and I fell into the bandwagon of Charmander and Charizard being my favorite back when the games came out. So yeah, that's where I started, and then we move on to, Gold and Silver and then all the other games. And I've had various favorites throughout all the games, and as you can see, there are a few over there. Nidoking up there. So that might be one that people are like, why is Nidoking one of your favorites? Well, a little bit of history on that. Nidoking in the original Red and Blue was actually really, really strong. And I'm talking like on the level of using a fighter type strong. So he had really good damage back then, and the poison ability, and depending on how you used it, was really good. But Nidoking actually became my favorite back then because Nidoking was the first Pokemon that I was able to solo all of the Elite Four with. Uh, I don't remember exactly the setup I had on him. I know I had Ice Beam and Earthquake on my Nidoking. As far as the other two moves, I can't really remember. I honestly can't say at this point, but I know I had Ice Beam and Earthquake, which made him just an absolute powerhouse. So Nidoking became one of my favorites back then. Along with, as you can see at the bottom here, we have a bunch of evolutions. Jolteon by far is my favorite. As far as electrical types, I prefer Jolteon over pretty much anything else, even though it's arguable if they are, in fact, the best electrical type. There are some that are probably a lot stronger. Um, and then with Silver and Gold coming out, we got Espeon, Umbreon, and also Scizor. You can't hardly see Scizor because he's right behind me. But yeah, Scizor, definitely one of my favorite Steel types. The Steel type is one of those that I try to fit on my teams if I can. Otherwise, Steel type is kind of a niche. And it just it's something that I may or may not have on my teams, simply because it's one of those types that is just like it's usable in specific situations. Outside of that, carrying it around all the time, not that great. As far as Umbreon, Umbreon and the Dark types became a staple of my team. Like having a Dark type on my team was absolutely necessary because of how annoying Psychic types were in Gen 1. Um, in fact, if you had any type of Psychic type in Red and Blue, you're pretty much going to be carried through the entire game with that. I think I ended up going with Hypno at the time for my Psychic, simply because in order to get Alakazam, you had to trade it, and I didn't have anybody to trade with. So Hypno ended up becoming the Psychic type that I generally used on my team. Not my favorite, but it is what was on my team. Then we also got Espeon, a new Psychic type, which was absolutely amazing. I loved it. Been, Jolteon and Espeon almost always on my team. I absolutely love those two. Moving forward from there, I don't really remember the order that some of these came out. I know roughly where the starters come out. Like I know Greninja is Gen 6 in X and Y. That is probably the first time that I broke my tradition. So my tradition was moving from Gen 1 all the way up to Gen 8 because I don't own a copy of Violet or Scarlet, so I haven't touched those yet. I've pretty much used fire starters as my starter. That's a mouthful. Yeah, Greninja was the first one that kind of broke that chain. We're not going to talk about Gen 7. Not going to talk about Gen 7. But yeah, Greninja, first time I used something other than fire since I started using Charmander. Infernape, I absolutely love the fire monkey. It's so great. Uh, I almost always end up naming it Goku. It's just something I do. And then also we got Lucario. I don't remember where Lucario came in. I don't remember if that was Gen 3 or Gen 4. But Lucario is one of my favorite steel types out there. Steel fighting, absolute great combo. Loved using it, and just became a staple of my team. So not something I always use. As same with Sizer. It's got this whole steel type is very niche, though the combination of also having fighting is something that became more and more something I tried to work into my team. Not necessarily because fighting was really good against normal types, but just because having that extra coverage was always nice, which is why I liked Infernape, because it was fire fighting, gave a good mix. Lucario being still fighting, I get to have my still on there, and I get to have fighting type moves, so really good there. As far as Glaceon and Leafeon, again, I don't remember exactly which generation they came out in. I want to say they were Generation 4. Not entirely sure off the top of my head. Um, I absolutely love those two, but again, those are two types, grass and ice, that is kind of a niche thing and isn't always on my teams. And then we got the fairy type in Gen 7. No, sorry, Gen 6. Uh, Yeah, I almost always try to get a fairy type on my team now because dragons for a long while there were super overpowered, and dealing with a dragon type became kind of problematic. So having a fairy type staple, having a dark type stable, uh, psychic type staple, fire type, just me being me, fire type almost always has to be on there. Um, Electric, I just love the electric types in general. Not all of them, but a good chunk of them I do really enjoy. So electric's almost always on there. And then whatever kind of mix I end up using. Generally, the last one or two of my Pokemon are niche types, so I switch those in and out as I need to. But yeah, that is just a bare like glimpse into my history with Pokemon. Um, Moving forward, why are we in silver? Why are we going to do a not real playthrough, but a kind of a demonstration in silver? That is because there's been a lot of controversy over the years of this. If you know what I'm talking about here just by looking at this, then you know what's about to happen. So we are talking about gym leader Whitney and her infamous milk tank. Okay, I tried to find a map of Johto from Gold and Silver for this. I couldn't find a good one, so you're just gonna have to try and listen to me. So the game is over 23 years old, or almost. It'll be 23 this year, I do believe, or 24, one of the two. I know it came out in '99. I think we are still like a few months away from it being 24. So my memory of certain things on this is going to be a little bit off. Um, I don't mind if you guys correct me down in the comments, so go right ahead if I misstep here. Uh, but why are we talking about this? Why are we going to actively get to Whitney and then record trying to beat her Miltank? Okay, so a lot of people are saying the Miltank gets a bad rap for the wrong reasons. Like, it's not as powerful as they think. Okay, here's the thing. To my memory, and I wish I could have found a map for this. Um, to my memory of playing gold and silver, there are a couple of things that stood out to me. First off, um, you'll notice that both Clefairy and Miltank are normal types. In order to deal super effective damage to them, you really need fighting types. That's the first problem. To my memory on this, there are no fighting types before you get to Whitney. There is nothing you can catch out there except for Heracross. And a lot of people were saying, just grab a Heracross. Well, you can't just simply go out there and catch a Heracross. So Silver introduced a mechanic where you slather honey on a tree, and then you wait exactly 24 hours, come back to the tree, and if the tree is shaking, you can find a type of bug Pokemon on that tree. Well, Heracross is super, super rare. I don't think I ever found a Heracross when this game was originally out via that method. Now, I don't remember if this is also version exclusive. I do think it is, so that might be a problem. Um, Either way, the chances of actually getting one before Whitney is pretty low because Whitney is the third gym leader. The other problem is available Pokemon before you get to the third gym. Okay, so most of the area that you can get to before her is grasslands. So there's a lot of like normal types and maybe even a few of the new grass types that were introduced in there. But the point is, the available Pokemon that you have access to against something as tanky as a Miltank, not very good. Okay, moving on from there, we also have the level system of gold and silver. Okay, this is something odd that they did in this particular game, and I do believe it was only in this game where most of the wild encounters are extremely low level. I'm talking like levels 5 to 15. Whereas in blue and red, and in most other games, the level of the wild encounters are approximately around the same level of whatever gym you're about to get to. So the ability to level up via wild encounters extremely diminished in silver and gold. I, from what I can remember of it, the highest level wild Pokemon you will find before you get to Victory Road and the Elite Four is 15. 18, 20. Okay, so that means you've got to pretty much catch your Pokemon as early as you can and fight every single trainer as you work your way to Whitney in order to level up your Pokemon. Okay, I don't remember when Experience Share was made. I do remember that Gold and Silver is the first game that introduced held items. Uh, that means we're going to have to use a bait and switch mechanic to level up some of our Pokemon. And if we catch any wild Pokemon, they are going to be severely underleveled. So if we use up all the trainers in leveling, just to get to Whitney, there is a small chance that our Pokemon could be under-leveled. Okay, that is one of the main problems, is Miltank was pretty tanky, had a lot of HP, and you may be under-leveled simply because of how the game mechanics work in this particular one. On top of that, the Clefairy is no pushover either. The Clefairy is actually a bit tanky. It's not as bad as the Miltank, and there are arguments out there that the Clefairy is actually worse because of Metronome. For those that don't know, Metronome is a random ability of any ability in the Pokemon games. So you could see something as ridiculous as Splash all the way up to Sacred Fire. Well, the problem I have with that being worse than the Miltank is it's so random that the chances of you getting hit by something huge like Sacred Fire is very minimum. So yeah, I don't think that's nearly as bad. Now, I will admit, again, the Clefairy is not as tanky as the Miltank, but it is pretty beefy, and that double slap does hurt. And if you get stuck in an Encore, oh boy, because you pretty much just have to use whatever attack. So getting past the Clefairy is the first challenge. Being able to actually beat the Miltank is the second challenge, because the Miltank is it's got a lot of health, if I recall correctly. For a level 20 Pokemon, it has a lot of health. On top of that, you've got both Milk Drink, which heals it, Stomp, which can cause you to flinch, Attract, which if you have the opposite sex, it doesn't tell me which sex the Miltank is. I think the Miltank is female. So generally speaking, if you have a male, which most of your starters are pretty much going to end up being male anyway, unless you're super lucky, it causes problems there, because then your Pokemon won't attack. Then there's Rollout. Rollout is the big problem here. Now, the accuracy of Rollout, I will admit, is supposed to be pretty low. However, in this particular instance, for whatever reason, that Rollout is the most annoying move in all of Pokemon. This particular setup, this Miltank with Rollout, that is where the problem starts coming in. First off, this thing has a lot of health. It can heal itself. Whitney's going to heal it. And then it's got Rollout, which just starts escalating the damage, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger to where it's one shot, one shot, one shot, one shot. That's the real problem with Miltank. So what we're going to do is we are going to get to Whitney. We're going to see what Pokemon are available and what levels we can get to. Because it's been almost 23 years since the last time I played this. That is kind of the goal, is to get to her and see what happens. So we aren't going to do a full-on playthrough. I'm not going to be showing you my entire gameplay. I am going to bring you guys in on the gym battles, specifically the leaders themselves, and then any of the rival battles. And I don't remember exactly when you get to name your rival, but I have a fun name we're going to name the rival. You'll see. So let's go on over here and unpause this. And you can see that I have already started. So I went ahead and I grabbed the Cyndaquil, so that is what we are starting with. We are starting with Cyndaquil. I gave it the name Archer. I couldn't think of a better name. So yeah, that is where we are starting, and I just want to figure out what the controls are. Nope. Okay. And I just want to do a little bit here, because I think you have your first battle with your rival almost immediately. So we're being sent on an errand, and it has been a long time since I've even touch this, so this may be interesting to see all the little details, because I think the rival right up there goes ahead and steals a Pokemon, and we have our first rival battle almost immediately. Okay, maybe not. So I want to avoid fights for the moment, and I don't remember what all are available, and I don't think we have Pokemon yet, or Pokeballs yet. No, we don't. What? Yeah, we don't have any Pokeballs yet. Critical hit right off the bat. Now, I will say this about the same emulator. I don't know if this emulator is been altered in any way. I don't know if there's any like changes to it to make anything easier, or levels have changed or whatnot. So even if it was, I wouldn't remember. It's been so long since I last played these. Okay, so we got a Pidgey right off the back, and now a Sentret. Sentret. It's just a normal type. I believe its evolution is Furret. God, it's been so long. There's so many Pokemon now, it's hard to remember them all. Back when these games were new, I knew every single one of them. Okay, so he's already used his berry. And I am aware that they said that I am being sent on an errand. I don't remember where that errand takes me to. Okay, we need Cut to go that way. Can't go this way. Just narrowly avoided that. I have no idea where to go. I think I need to go this way. So we've seen Pidgey, Sentret. I'm just trying to think about what I could possibly use for future fights. No, Tallow is Gen 3, so we're not going to see Tallow. I was thinking Tallow was in this, but that's Generation 3. So that'd be, much later. Well, we're not doing too hot, but it has been a minute since I've touched these. It's so weird seeing these graphics again. We'll admit that right now. It is very strange to see these graphics. We got Smokescreen. That's gonna be useful. Yep. I was not paying attention. I don't know what errand we were supposed to run or what. Okay, this is a dead end. Like I said, it's been a long while. Okay, so I'll get to grinding this out and getting through everything, and then I will bring you guys back in for the first rival battle, which I thought was really soon. I thought it was almost immediately, but apparently it's not. I'll be right back. Alright, so we just got the message that the rival has stolen the Pokemon. I don't remember exactly where you encounter the rival for the first rival battle, so I thought I'd bring you guys in as I make my way back. Yeah, that's what I thought. Right about here. So here we go. Yep. Probably the worst rival in all of Pokemon. Not only is he a thief that stole a Pokemon, but he's just generally cruel to his partners. Yeah, this is one of the few times where they pick the element that's stronger against you. Well, I think that's actually in most of them. They pick the element that's stronger than you. Only a few of them do they not do that. I know in Sword and Shield... I can't think of his name. He actually ends up getting the weaker one. However, his brother, Leon, the Pokemon champion, takes the one that's stronger against whichever one you picked. So, like, say I take Scorbunny, he ends up taking, Subble? Whatever the little gecko thing is. Alright, so that's the first fight with the battle. Or, fight with the battle. Fight with the rival. Now, I think from there we actually go talk to the professor, and that's when we get to assign the rival his name. Oh, that person doesn't fight me. I probably should have healed up after that. We still don't have Pokeballs, so we've only got the Cyndaquil at the moment. So we're just going to have to deal with that for now. So let's get through this Centret and get our rival's name on there. Keep you guys in here for a little bit longer while I do that, and then we'll get on with getting to Whitney and showing just how annoying she is. Though, I got a feeling, like, doing this, I got a feeling that Whitney's going to prove me wrong and be a pushover. It's just this feeling that I have in my gut where something's not going to go the way it should, or that I remember. Yeah, here we go. Do I have enough space? I don't. It doesn't look like I have enough space for this. Whoops. Okay, that's fine. He'll now be Mikey JJ. Okay, so what I was planning to do before I messed it up, we're not going to worry about that. So, Mikey, that's from M&J TV. They do a lot of Pokemon videos. So I thought it'd be funny to name the rival Mikey, but I was also wanting to put in the last name of Mikey Pat, as in Matt Pat from Game Theory, because we are going to prove once and for all if Whitney's Miltank is as absurd as memory serves. That's the best I could do for that. So yeah, let me get on with it, and I'll bring you guys back in for either another rival battle or the first gym battle. I'm not sure. But before we even do that, I will bring you guys in and update you on what our team is currently looking like. As of right now, we don't have Pokeballs yet, so I can't catch anything. So let's just get on with it. Okay, I had to bring you guys back in real quick. We're not that far into it, and youngster Mikey. Well, I'm sorry to say, Mikey, but I'm gonna have to, like, destroy you. You're starting off with a Pidgey. Berserker! Yep, we caught a Weedle. We named him Berserker. Why not? This may not be a good matchup for Berserker, though. I was trying to level him up over here in route... What am I on? 30 or 31? And it's always a pain in the butt trying to level up the the early bugs because they're so low level that they don't really do a whole lot against any of the other wild Pokemon. But yeah, we are fighting youngster Mikey. And then we got Splinter, our Rattata. Coming in, he's going to take out the Pidgey. I think I saw they have 2. Rattata. Yes, I will switch. We're going to bring Berserker back out because Berserker needs experience bad. I do believe... No, level 7 is when it evolves into Kakuna. We're just going to have to do the bait and switch here. We're going to switch to our Pidgey named Musk. Congratulations if you get the reference. And we're going to use our Pidgey to take out the Rattata. We don't exactly have a whole lot in terms of Pokemon at the moment, but we're still very, very early game. Like I said, I haven't even gotten to the next city yet. I've just been sitting here trying to level. And there goes the Rattata. And I have beaten youngster Mikey. So, Mikey, let that be a lesson. Though, truth be told, if I went up against the actual Mikey in any game, he'd probably destroy me, because I'm not a competitive player. I'm just a casual player. I don't get into the whole min-maxing of my Pokemon. I just like gathering the Pokemon that I actually like to use, and then playing the game. That's how I go about it. So, yeah. There we go. Mikey's defeated. I thought that'd be just kind of funny to bring you guys in on. Alright, we are back. We are ready to take on the first gym, Flanker. It is a flying type gym. Unfortunately, there are no electric types for us to get this early in the game, so we're just going to have to kind of hope for the best here. So let me introduce you to the team. You can clearly see here we have a Zubat named Alucard. Haha, very funny. He's going to be our lead for a little while. We need to do the old bait and switch to level him up. Unfortunately, Leech Life is a very pathetic skill in these games, especially the early ones. It does get a lot better in later games, but for this one, it's kind of terrible. So we're going to have to level him up a little bit. I have Cerebi pulled up. Let me look at it real quick. Yeah. So at level 6 he will learn Supersonic, and at level 12 he'll learn Bite, and that will be the time that we don't have to bait and switch him anymore. Until then, we're just going to bait and switch him. I didn't feel like even trying to level him up yet, so that's where it stands. Up next, we got our Cyndaquil Archer. He's at level 11. I do want to get this up to level 12. I'm hoping we beat Flanker here, get him up to level 12, and then to Knight before I continue on. I'm going to try and get myself a Ghastly. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get Gengar, but Ghastly and a Haunter are going to be a big help later on. Don't know if we're going to be able to do that this early in the game, because it is going to be kind of a hit or miss attempt, and I may have to spend quite a while working on that. We'll see if we manage to get a Ghastly this early. I do recall that I did have one this early, but I also recall in these older generations that Ghost types don't work on normal. Or maybe it's Psychic types. I don't remember which. And it was kind of an oversight. They didn't even realize that they did it, if I recall that correctly. I do know that it was fixed later on in Heart Gold, Soul Silver. But I believe in Generation 1 and Generation 2 there was kind of a weird bug with normal types and ghost types where they didn't really... the damage wasn't applied correctly or something. I don't remember what that is. I didn't feel like looking it up either. It's just what I recall. All of this is not me researching anything. It's just me trying to remember the years of playing these games. So, yeah, with that being said, let's go on with the team. Definitely correct me down in the comments. Okay, so we got Pidgey, our we got Musk, our Pidgey. He's at level 10. He knows Gust now, which is pretty good. Unfortunately, Pidgey is probably going to go bye-bye at some point. I'm not really a big fan of the Pidgey line. I'm not really a fan of flying types at all, to be perfectly honest. I think there's only like a handful of flying types I will even use, or even have used. At a straight-up flying type, I'm not really interested. So, Pidgey's on our team for now. We did get Berserker up to Beedrill, so he's going to be handy for a little while, and he's probably going to end up being our cut Pokemon. Yeah, that's probably what we're going to do with him. So that is... what are we at now? Let's see, we got Alucard, Cyndaquil, Pidgey, Beedrill. Who am I missing? Oh yeah, our Rattata. Our Rattata, Splinter. There's a reason. You'll see why here in a second. So yeah, Splinter. So we did get Quick Attack on it. That's going to be a lot better than Tackle. Rattata may stay on the team for a little while because Hyper Fang is very good once you get that, and will be very helpful in dealing with any kind of like tanky Pokemon that we come across. I haven't pulled that up yet to see exactly when he learns Hyper Fang, and even Raticate when it gets Super Fang would be nice, but Super Fang's one of those abilities I have a hard time justifying because it deals exactly half damage or half health damage, so it can quickly diminish a Pokemon's health if it lands. Again, I don't really remember. I just remember that this was probably the one game where Rattata was pretty handy. Now, bear in mind, there are later versions. I believe it's the Alolan Rattata that is Dark type. A lot better. Definitely a lot better Pokemon than the normal Rattata. That goes with a few of them. Even Meowth. Meowth is something we are going to pick up at some point, assuming that we get to Meowth before we get to Whitney. Remember, the whole goal of this is just to get to Whitney and show you the retardedness of dealing with Miltank. I'm not sure if we are going to see Meowth before then or after then. You guys are probably going to make a comment down below, but this is all going to be spliced together in one big video, so I won't see that until after the video is out and after you guys have watched it. So, yeah. There is some research things that I'm refusing to do because this feels all new all over again. And, man, like modern Pokemon games, you young kids that are playing this, you've got it made. Like, they've made it so much easier. Like, the bait and switch is so annoying because it then halves the XP between the two Pokemon, and the enemy gets a free hit while you're switching out. It's so annoying. And last but not least, and I had to do it. Yeah, we have a Geodude, and his name is Rick Roll. I had to do it. Hey, turn the music off. We don't want to get it hit with a copyright claim there. But yeah, that is our team right now. And let's get into this and see if we can beat Flanker on the first try. I'm not too confident about this team, but we'll see. Flackner. I keep saying Flanker. I'm almost wondering if there has been some edits to this, because I noticed something was very off earlier. There was some text that was just so mixed and matched that I couldn't understand what was actually being said. Okay, so you're starting off with a level 7 Pidgey. That's not going to be much of an issue. We're not going to let Alucard take that on. I do want to level up Archer. We need to get fire so that we can actually damage the Ghastly when we finally find one. Because right now I don't think I have a single Pokemon that can actually damage a Ghastly. Being that it is Ghost type, most types don't hit it. You have to hit it with either Elemental or Psychic. Well, we don't have access to Psychic right now, and the only element we have is our starter Pokemon in Cyndaquil, so we really need that fire attack. And this is already looking bad for leveling up Archer. We're just gonna go ahead. Just go ahead and switch over one more time. Why have they got Mud Slap this early? That's super annoying. Okay, down goes that. My card levels up to 3. Archer did not level up. Pidgeotto. This should be fun. So I have to spend a little bit of time on Archer in the Bellsprout Tower. Luckily we've still got all of our Pokemon, but Pidgeotto is not good. I probably should have pulled up and seen what exact moves they have. Gust. I believe that's going to do a heck of a lot of damage. I don't want you getting knocked out. I want you to get some XP. I don't know how effective flying is against rock. So let's just bring in Berserker. He does have Fury attack, so maybe we can get some decent damage. Or it could half our health in one hit. Okay. Oh, I forgot I turned off all the, Oh, there we go. That worked. Okay, Alucard's now level 4. Muskrat to level 11. And that's it. Flackner is defeated. Okay, we did manage to do this. He does give us a TM or something. What TM does he give us? Yeah, we got Flash earlier. TM31. What is TM31? Mud Slap. I don't know if Mud Slap's gonna work on Ghastly, but being that we're not doing a full-on playthrough, I feel like we could just go ahead and give this to our Geodude, Rickroll. Or we could give it to a bunch of different ones. We're just gonna go ahead and put it on Rickroll. That's good. That's gonna be a nice little bonus move that we get. Let's go heal up. And... oh. I don't remember. Where are we? Yeah, we're in Violet. I do believe this is where we get the egg. If I recall correctly, the egg is Togepi. Yes, I would love to take care of the egg. Oh, okay. Well, I guess we're gonna go ahead and get rid of Pidgey. Bye, Pidgey. And give me the egg. We'll have to move around some of our other Pokemon too at some point, depending on what we get access to when. I'm not sure what all we're going to have. Okay. Yeah, there we go. We got the egg now. And again, if I recall correctly, I think the egg is Togepi. I'm not going to look. I should know it, but like I said earlier in the video, this is like 23 years ago that I even touched this game last. So it's all new to me again, so instead of like looking up things and trying to figure out where stuff is and everything, I wanted to re-experience this and make sure that I'm not crazy, and Miltank on Whitney's team is an absolute monster to try and deal with. So far, I have been wrong about one thing. We were able to find a rock type, so there are options for tough Pokemon to grab before fighting Whitney. So yeah, for some reason I was thinking there were no caves or anything until after Whitney. I know fighting types. I'm pretty sure you can't find any fighting types before you fight Whitney. And in fact, I don't think you can even get to them before then, because I think all the fighting types are over here somewhere. And I hate this. I can't just go and select it. I have to scroll through all these. And I believe there's some fighting types over here, Cinnawood City. I believe. Like I said, it's been a long time since I've played these. Yeah, anyway, we're gonna have to drop another one to get our Ghastly. I may end up dropping the Beedrill. I'm not sure. We do want Beedrill for the cut when we get that. I'm not sure when we get that. I'm not sure if that's before or after Whitney. So at some point we will have to drop the Beedrill. I may go ahead and drop the Rattata in order to get the Ghastly. But we'll see what happens with that. First things first, I gotta wait till tonight so that we can even get them. We're a few hours away. I don't remember exactly what the time frame is in this for Ghastly to appear in the Bellsprout Tower, but we will try and get that, and I've got to go level up Archer so that we can get Fire and actually be able to hurt the Ghastly first off. So yeah, hang tight, I'll be right back. And we're back. Okay, so it's the next day. We did manage to get ourselves a Ghastly last night, and we did a little bit of leveling. You can see we are on, I think this is Route 32 at the moment. We need to talk about a couple of things. Because I've been looking around for what Pokemon are where, I did stumble across a little thing about Whitney's Miltank. Actually, a couple of things. So, first off, this is what a strategy guide actually said about Whitney's Miltank back in. Whitney's Miltank can be very difficult to defeat. In addition to having high defense and speed, yes, high speed, it can use Milk Drink to restore its HP. As Miltank is female, its Attract move prevents male Pokemon from attacking 50% of the time. Okay, yeah, that's a problem, so we're definitely going to need a couple of females in our team. The best strategy is to use status elements, so things like Poison, Paralyze, Sleep, all those, and then to just chip away at it. Now, Poison. So, Poison is something that we could potentially do. However, there is a huge problem with that. We are in Pokemon Silver. So anybody thinking, oh, just go get a Butterfree. Well, we're in Pokemon Silver. Butterfree is technically one of those that is version exclusive. Silver has Beedrill, while Gold has Butterfree. If we could get to the National Park, we could get a Butterfree. I don't think the National Park becomes available till after her battle. It has been a while. Another thing we need to clarify, I was stating that you slather honey on trees earlier in the video. That is incorrect. In this one, you can find trees that are shaking, and then you have a Pokemon that has Headbutt. It headbutts the tree, and then the Pokemon falls out of the tree. So that's how that mechanic actually works in this. I'm not sure when the honey takes place. I don't know if that's in Gen 3 or Gen 4. But yeah, at some point it's you slather honey on a tree and you come back and there's a Pokemon that's latched onto the honey. That is not in this one. This one is the headbutt, so that was incorrect when I stated that. So yeah, we got that problem. As far as poisoning her Miltank, we have a few options, but I don't know when we get access to Toxic. I don't know if Toxic is sometime later in the game or what, but we're not going to be able to grab Toxic in order to poison the Miltank. We could rely on various poison moves, but those are kind of hit or miss, so we'd have to get kind of lucky on that. The other thing, we don't have Pokemon abilities in this, so grabbing a Nidoran or male or female, and hopefully having the poison spikes or whatever it's called. I don't remember what the ability is called off the top of my head. I'd actually have to look it up. Yeah, we don't have that. It's not in this. One thing we do have is Poison Barb becomes available in Goldenrod City on Fridays. I don't want to drag out this little showcase of the power of Whitney's Miltank to Friday. I was hoping to actually have the video done by Friday. It is taking a little bit more time. We did have to wait for night to get a Ghastly, and we did kind of start this a little bit late. So it is currently Wednesday. We need to get on with that. The other thing, when I was talking about how Ghost and normal types do not interact, yeah, that was kind of me trying to remember it. There's a lot of Pokemon stuff out there, so trying to remember it all, as I'm not a Pokemon-centered channel, is a little bit challenging at times. So the real thing that is going on there is normal types do not affect ghost types. On the flip side of that, ghost attacks do not affect normals. So our little Ghastly is not gonna come in as handy as I thought unless we can get some other move on it that is not ghost type. At the moment it only has Lick, and Lick is ghost type. That complicates things a little bit. So I'm looking at what do we have available, what can we possibly use against this Miltank. And it is a very tanky creature, and the fact that it's very fast means it's going to outspeed us no matter what we get at the moment. In fact, let me jump over here to OBS so that I can quickly show you this. This is a meme that I knew had been around for a while, and I decided to go and grab it, find it, because it makes sense for this video. But here we go, right here. Why is Miltank faster than Rayquaza? So as you can see, it has a speed of 100, whereas Rayquaza has a speed of 95. So there's not a whole lot I'm going to be able to do about that. It's gonna outspeed us regardless. So let's take a quick look at our Pokemon, because we did change them up a little bit. So we still got Alucard, our Zubat. He's at level 10. We're getting close to getting Bite so that we don't have to constantly do the bait and switch. And that is getting so annoying. Thank you for the updates and the games over the years, and we got experience share now, because this is so annoying. Up next, we did go ahead and capture a Bellsprout. I named it Venture. I couldn't really think of a good name. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Bellsprout. The reason we have that is we do have a few water types that we were encountering over here, which was problematic because most of our team is weak to water. So we needed something to try and take that on. He's only level 7. He's not going to be on our team for very long. I just grabbed this so that we could deal with the water types at the moment. We do have a Mareep called Woollock. This would be great for dealing with the water types, except for the fact that it doesn't get Thunder Shock until I think I saw level 12 in this old game. So yeah, it's not very useful for dealing with water at the moment, being that it is the only electric type you can find this early in the game. We went ahead and grabbed that, and it will come in handy because there are some fishermen coming up ahead that use water types, so we definitely need that. The Bellsprout will also help with that a little bit. I don't plan on keeping the Bellsprout though. Up next, we got our Ghastly, Rick Ghastly. Okay. Yeah. It's a funny joke I came up with a while back, calling Ghastly Rick Ghastly. Don't worry, we're not going to play the music again. I'm not trying to rickroll anybody on purpose. We actually have a purpose for this entire video, so don't worry about that. Just a funny little thing that I like to call Ghastly. Then we got our Geodude, Rick Roll, as you guys saw earlier. He's going to be staying on our team for a little while longer. I'm not sure how long. It depends on what we actually get access to. I know coming up in one of the areas we will be grabbing the Nidorans, because having the potential for poisoning the Miltank will be very handy. Unfortunately, I don't remember. I'll have to look up their movesets, but I don't think the Nidoran female gets any kind of poison attack. We could teach it Toxic, but again, I don't remember when we get access to Toxic. And I'm pretty sure it's not till sometime after we deal with Whitney. As far as fighting types, we still got the possibility of getting a Heracross, but considering that the guides are saying that you need to use some kind of status element like sleep, poison, stun, any of that stuff, we're probably going to go for that, and I don't believe Heracross has access to any of that except for Toxic, which again, I don't think we're going to get access to before Whitney. And then finally we got our Cyndaquil Archer, so that is our status on that. And I am going to get back into it. We're going to try and get through Route 32 and on to Azalea Town, if I'm saying that right. We do have another rival encounter once we get there. Hopefully we'll have some of our elemental damage going at that point, because the very first member of his team is a Ghastly. So we're definitely going to need some of the element damage, and hopefully by that point we will have our Zubat up to level 12 so that he gets Bite, and Bite was labeled as Dark type in this. For some reason I was thinking it was much later into the generations that Bite got moved over to Dark type, but I'm pretty sure I saw that Bite was labeled as Dark type in this. So yeah, let me get back to it and I'll bring you guys back in with updates and for other battles. We got one more gym battle to do. I believe we got one more rival battle to do before we go and take on the dreaded Miltank. So I'll bring you guys right back. Okay, so we got our next rival battle. This kind of caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting this already. I was gonna go level up my Pokemon to take on the next gym leader, which is Bugsy. His Pokemon start at level 14, and then his... Hang on, let me just pull it back up. So, Bugsy has level 14 Metapod, level 14 Kakuna, and a level 16 Scyther. We do need to level up a little bit before we're ready to take on that. I was not expecting the rival battle just yet. I thought I actually had to go through the gate before he actually approached me. So this is a little bit sooner than I thought it would happen. Kind of caught me off guard. So yeah, let's just go ahead and try to knock this one out. Now, he does have a Ghastly. Do I still have his battle pulled up? No, it does not look like I still have his battle pulled up. I know he has a Ghastly, and then he should have a... not Feraligatr. Whatever Totodile's second stage is. Crocodile or something? I can't... Crocnol? Yeah, I can't remember what that line's second form is. So he should have that. I don't remember what it said his second Pokemon is. I want to say it was the Zubat that was listed. We're just going to have to find out, and we're going to have to take this on. Luckily, I do have my Zubat in position 1, because I figured Zubat would be great for taking on the bugs and clearing our way through to Bugsy, so his Ghastly should not be much of an issue. So let's just see this. We're probably under-leveled for taking him on. I was not expecting this already. Yep, and the misspelling, Mikey J. Okay, so level 12 Ghastly, we should be good, because Alucard is level 13. Our team hasn't changed at all. The only difference it has now is Cyndaquil just evolved into Quilava. So we got that change, and you just put my Zubat to sleep. Oh, that was lucky. Woke right up. Okay, so that's the Ghastly out of the way. Let's see. Yep, level 14 there. That's good. What is his second? Zubat. We are going to change. We're going to go to Woollock. Give Woollock some experience here by tanking this Zubat. We did get Thundershock, which was much sooner than I thought. We ended up getting Thundershock at like level 9 or something. I could have sworn it said it was at level 12, but obviously I was mistaken. So yeah, here we go. We're just going to take out the Zubat, and we should just stick with Woollock to deal with his starter, which is, I can't remember the name of it. Croconaw. So yeah, we're just going to stick with Woollock to deal with Croconaw. And this should be level 16. Wow, that's a sudden jump. We should be somewhat alright. If not, we've still got our... Yeah, it's not going to work out very well, is it? Okay, let's go ahead and... Can I get away with it? Let's not tempt fate there. Let's just go ahead and bring in our Bellsprout. And take him out. Should be very quick. Boink! There it goes. That should give both our Woollock and our Venture a level up. Yep, there we go. Venture is not going to be very useful against Bugsy, but I don't foresee the need for him. However, we do need to level up a little bit because his team's a little bit higher level than us. And honestly, I don't even know if I can go this way. I know once we beat Bugsy, we get access to Cut, which is going to open up different areas we can go through. I don't know if there's any Pokemon here for us. Uh-oh. Oh, yep, okay. We got a battle. Alright, let me go through and do a little bit of leveling up. And hopefully we will be able to take on Bugsy when I come back. I do want to point out, like what I said earlier, if you notice, this Weedle is level 6. Okay? Bugsy's Pokemon are level 14, 14, and 16. Now, we are pretty good on our levels at the moment, but his Scyther being level 16 does mean we do need to go through and level up some. But the wild Pokemon, as I stated earlier on in the video, are way under that level. And that is a trend throughout the entire game, and is what makes dealing with the Miltank a little bit more difficult, because you're really having to grind for levels at that point. Most of the wild Pokemon being so low level really bogs down the progression of levels in this particular series of games. With that being said, part of the reason why they did that is they introduced, we know it as the versus mechanic, where you get somebody's phone number and every so often you can go and re-challenge that person. At least I think so. Don't hold me to that, because it has been forever. If I am wrong, leave me a comment down there in the comments saying, hey, yeah, that's not right. They introduced that mechanic in this game. Much like the earlier misstep of the honey on trees. Yeah, completely forgot. Again, it's been over 23 years since I even touched these. So, yeah, with that being said, again, let me get back to it, and then I'll bring you guys back in for the Bugsy fight. Okay, change of plans. We're just going to go ahead and fight Bugsy. The bug types and all the Pokemon in Elixir Forest are just too weak. It's taking way too long to get any amount of XP. We did manage to get our Geodude, Rick Roll, up to level 14. We're going to start with him because I think he's got probably the best chance at dealing a lot of damage to the bug types right away. And it's probably our best Pokemon for dealing with the bug types. Rick Ghastly, maybe? I don't know if this is the one where they started making ghost types weak to bugs. I know one of them they did that, then they reversed it. I don't remember if that's this one. Again, I may be misstepping there, so just leave a comment letting me know, hey, that's not a thing, or that's not how that mechanic works. But yeah, for now, let's just go with that. I don't remember how bugs and ghosts interact in Silver. Archer, we're going to hold in last. He will potentially be the one that does the most damage, depending on how well Rick Roll does. Alucard, maybe. Woollock, I don't see Woollock being very useful here, though it should be noted that Scyther is bug flying, so Woollock may be the choice to go against Scyther. Venture is going to be absolute useless, because it is a grass type, and grass types are weak to bugs, so Venture, hopefully we don't have to pull Venture out. So my plan for now is just to go with Rick Roll, try to roll through all of them, use Archer to take on the Scyther, and if I have to, I'll use Woollock. So, yeah, let's just go ahead and do this. Oh, and again, I do want to state that earlier we did have our Cyndaquil evolve into Quilava. I didn't actually show that. Here you are. Proof that it did happen. He evolves at level 14. You guys know this. So, yeah, there we are with Archer. He's Quilava now. So let's just go ahead and see if we can steamroll through Bugsy. I don't think we're going to have an issue with Bugsy, but you never know how the dice are going to roll. And in fact, I didn't look at any of his Pokemon to see what moves they know. Poison could be a problem, though how you poison a rock, I don't know. That is one thing that's been annoying me as I've been doing this playthrough. Rickroll has been poisoned so many times now. And it's frankly annoying. Because it's like, how do you poison a rock? Okay, so his Metapod's not going to pose any kind of challenge. Just kind of steamrolled past him. Ripple's now going to go up to level 15. If he goes with Scyther, yes, we are going to go ahead and switch. We're going to go into Archer. I know Fire is not, like, expressively one of Bug's weaknesses. I just, for some reason, Fire's always been really good for me. I do think Fire is one of their weaknesses, but yeah, there you go. It's always been the type that I go with against Bugs. I do think there's other types that are much better, but I'm not looking at any of the type charts or anything there, so just take this as commentary while we're doing that. Okay, his Scyther posed no issue whatsoever, which is going to be in stark contrast to when we get to the Miltank. Kakuna, I feel like we just need to go ahead and bring out Rick Ghastly. Mostly for experience, not for any other real reason than that. And if you guys aren't aware, you haven't seen any of my other videos, know that the camera's down here, the screen's up there. So that's why, you know, I keep doing this. I'm looking directly at the camera. So yeah, Rick Ghastly's not going to do much damage to the Kakuna, but we are going to be able to take it out eventually. And it does have Poison Sting, that's interesting. That's another one that I don't fully understand. How do you poison a ghost? I've had that happen a couple of times. Oh, and I still haven't turned the animations back on. I turned the animations off so that we could like get through this a little bit quicker. And just forgot and haven't turned it back on. It just dawned on me I still haven't turned that back on. Okay, so that's the first two gym leaders down. Relatively easy. Bugsy, we steamrolled Bugsy a lot easier than I thought we would. I wasn't exactly sure how that was going to go, but you never know with these games. But yeah, we steamrolled Bugsy. So next up, we gotta get to Goldenrod City and take on Whitney. And show you just how ridiculous the Miltank is. But with how things are going, I'm really curious if this is going to go the way I think it goes, and it's going to be a pushover and show me that or show everybody I'm completely wrong and everything, but the Miltank was the biggest problem for like forever. And you will notice when we get there, I believe her Clefairy is level 18 and the Miltank's level 20. We're getting close to those levels, but we're still not there, and that's the very next gym badge. Now, in stark contrast in red and blue, Brock's Onyx was like level 14, and then Misty's Starmie was level 18. However, there were Pokemon available around the area that could easily deal with those. For Brock, it wasn't as obvious, but you had to go... And basically, if you got Bulbasaur, Brock and Misty, no issue. If you got Squirtle, Brock was no issue. If you got Charmander, well, Charmander worked a lot better for everything else in the game. Squirtle and Bulbasaur are really only good for the first two trainers. Gym battles, Brock and Misty. And this one, their gym trainers are so random and you don't get access to anything that can actually deal significant damage to them until much, much later. Like the first Flackner being flying type, there's no electric types to get access to. Bugsy being bugs, which, without looking at the type chart, I can only say that fire and... I think that's it in this. Fire and... maybe fire and rock are the two best. Again, I'm not looking at a type chart right now. There's too many types. Something I've just kind of, like in the back, I don't really worry about it too much anymore. I just play the games to enjoy them. I don't worry about type matching anymore. But anyway, so Bugsy, you really need a fire type, and the only fire type you have... Excuse me, I need some water. The only fire type you have access to at this point is Cyndaquil. There are no other fire types for a while. I don't know, like, I do remember that at one point in my playthroughs in the past, I dropped Cyndaquil and started using Ponyta, because if I recall correctly, both its speed and its damage were actually higher. There was a reason why I removed the starter from the team. Not something I usually do. I think there's only a handful of times in the history of Pokemon where I've dropped the starter. Silver and Gold are one of those times, and it's mostly because while I do like the designs of these Pokemon a lot more than some of the others, they're overall mediocre. Like, the designs, they're okay. They're not as ridiculous looking as Gen 3 starters. Gen 3 starters, don't even get me started. Like, I can't stand how those look. But their move pool, their strengths, and everything are just kind of pathetic. Like, even of all the fire starters, Cyndaquil, Quilava, and Typhlosion are at the bottom of the list as far as strength within their element as starters. They are, it is ridiculous how weak and useless they really are. Still one of my favorites. I love how they look. But again, even in the looks department, they're mediocre. They're pretty basic. But anyway, yeah, let me get on with it, because we're rambling. I gotta get to Goldenrod City and get to fighting Whitney. And we'll see how that goes. It should be interesting if it goes the way that it did in the past, because I remember having a lot of trouble with it. Especially considering, and we already covered this, it has high defense, high health pool, and a ridiculous speed stat. So there's no way we're gonna outspeed the Miltank. And actually, let me, I can push the right buttons. Let's go ahead and look at some of our stats here. Okay, so Geodude, speed of 17. Wow, yeah, Miltank's gonna outspeed us. Ghastly, speed of 31. Bellsprout, speed of 18. Mareep, speed of 17. Zubat, speed of 22. Quilava, speed of 31. Yeah. We'll see when we get there. I'll bring you guys back in when we get to that point, or if we get to another rival battle. Not sure what's going to happen first. Be right back. Alright, we made it to Goldenrod City, and we had a little bit of good luck, bad luck just happen. So, our Ghastly leveled up, and it was going to learn Curse. Well, I accidentally overrid our Hypnosis, which we really need if we, as one of the tactics to try and beat the Miltank. So kind of bad luck. That kind of thing happens occasionally. On the lucky side of that, we hadn't saved yet. On the downside is I'd made it quite far and gotten some of my Pokemon leveled up, and then I accidentally exited out of the game. So we lost all of our progress, but again, that is kind of a good thing, bad thing, because that means we can hopefully get Cursed this time without losing our Hypnosis. We still got the problem of Ghastly is not going to be able to damage either Clefairy or Miltank at all, except for the use of Curse, I believe, does actually work on them. I'm not entirely sure if Curse is a Ghost type ability or not. I didn't get a chance to look at it because it had just leveled up. I had moved Pokemon around. I went to go look at the information out there on what Pokemon are available on Route 35, which is where we are now. There are a couple I would like to try and get, both of the Nidoran versions. We do need a female on the group for dealing with the Miltank, that way we're not suffering with the attract. I would like to get the male one too, because I think the male one learns Poison Sting or something else that can potentially poison the Miltank. I do know that the female does not. Actually, I've got the stuff up. Let's just take a quick look at both of these. Okay, yeah, the male one learns Poison Sting at level 17. So that is potential. Not going to be a guaranteed poison on the enemy, but it does learn it. Okay, the female also does learn Poison Sting at level 17. Okay, interesting. That must have been a later generation that they split up what they learned, because it looks to me like they both learn exactly the same moves. But I do know in later versions they did split that, and the two are completely separate Pokemon while still being the same Pokemon. And it's just a huge mess, because, you know, they made the male and female, and sexes for Pokemon hadn't been introduced yet. And then they went and introduced it, and now they've got two Pokemon that are the same thing, only different sexes. They do technically also have different evolutions, unlike all the other ones where the male and female, the only real difference between them is coloration or patterns on them. The Nidorans are completely different in terms of their evolutions, but later down the line, like I said, they did split that up even further by making their moves that they learn as they level up completely different. Much later versions, again, they're completely separate Pokemon. I'm rambling about this, so let me get on to leveling. We are here now at Goldenrod City, and the Clefairy is level 18. The Miltank is level 20, and if I pull up our Pokemon, you will see that we aren't close to that at all. So we need to level these guys up. We need to capture a couple of new ones. As of right now, I'm thinking Alucard, we need to remove that one, and probably Venture. These two probably need to go away. Woolock, maybe. Rickroll's probably going to come in very handy. I don't know how handy, but it's probably going to come in handy. Rick Ghastly is something that we do need to plan on using, and also plan on removing. I would like to get my hands on an Abra out here, because an Abra would actually be a little bit better than the Ghastly, because it will learn Hypnosis and Confusion, which could work really well at dealing damage. As far as elemental damage, like poison or fire, burn, those are unfortunately very chancy. Like, we don't have a way of directly applying that. It's going to be just a random occurrence that actually happens. Now, if we did have some form of bug or plant that used poison power, we could do it that way. I do believe there is a section where we could potentially get an Oddish. But that means it only spawns there at night, and I didn't really take too much of a look. I'm not a big fan of Oddish, so didn't really bother with that. The other potential candidates are, we are near the national park, so we could still potentially get a Butterfree to take on Whitney. More to come on that. Again, let me get to leveling, and I'll bring you guys back in when we're ready to do some more, or if we got something I want to talk about, kind of briefly go over, stuff like that. So yeah, let me get to it. Alright, bringing you guys back in because we do have an update to our Pokemon list. So we have the Nidoran male, Kenshin, and we also have the Nidoran female, Rena, however you want to say that. The name, I got it from Rena. It's a character in a random anime. Kenshin, you may know. Rena, I don't expect you to know that one. And we're not going to quiz you on it or anything. The reason I want these two is you can see right there at the bottom of her list. She has double kick, and so does he. That's going to be very important because both Clefairy and Miltank are normal types, and fighting type moves work very well on them. Unfortunately, this is as close to a fighting type that we can get at this stage in the game. Yeah, let's not ramble on too much. I've got to get these guys leveled up, and hopefully, within next couple of hours, we'll be able to go ahead and record taking on Whitney and seeing how long that takes. First things first, so we got to get these guys up. So, I'll be right back. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, there are only two genders. We have arrived at Whitney's gym battle. And Whitney is rocking a Clefairy, knowing Double Slap, Mimic, Encore, and Metronome. And the real challenger is her Miltank, knowing Rollout, Attract, Stomp, and Milk Drink. She has a reputation of absolutely obliterating trainers. And on my side, we have a whole new team set up. Let's go ahead and take a look. We have Geodude, Rickroll with Magnitude, Defensive Curl, Rock Throw, and Mud Slap. I think Mud Slap's gonna help quite a bit in trying to lower that Miltank's accuracy, though we will see if we even get to that, because I have other ideas on how we're going to approach the Miltank. Next up, we have a Machop named Muscle. Okay, so I do need to correct something. There is a fighting type available. This is an in-game trade. To get this, you have to trade a Drowsy to get this Machop. So we do have that. It comes with Low Kick, Leer, Seismic Toss is something that it leveled up into, and then Karate Chop. I believe it has one of the, like, Focus Energy or something. It has one of those type moves. I can't remember exactly what it has when you get it. And we also have our Quilava Archer. He knows Tackle, Leer, Smoke Screen, yet another way to try and lower the accuracy, and Ember. I don't think he's going to come in very clutch here. And then we also have a Nidorina, Renee. She has Growl, Poison Sting, Scratch, and Double Kick. The two notables here are Poison Sting and Double Kick. Growl may come into play if we can try and lower the attack damage of the Miltank, possibly. I do plan on using Nidorina first against the Miltank. We're going to try and poison it as quick as possible. Then finally we have a Nidorino, Kenshin. He knows Leer, Poison Sting, Horn Attack, and Double Kick. Both of these having Double Kick means that we're going to be doing some extra damage to her normal types. Leer, we can potentially lower the defense of the Miltank. And again, with Poison Sting to hopefully get off poison as soon as we can. Hopefully we can get the poison off. But that is our team. That is what we are going with to try and beat her. Oh, and we forgot Rick Ghastly. Got one more to cover. So Rick Ghastly knows Hypnosis, Lick, Spite, and Curse. Really, Rick Ghastly is going to be absolutely useless because we got no way of actually damaging either one of her Pokemon. The only use I can foresee of Rick Ghastly is getting Curse on the Miltank if I cannot get it poisoned. That would be a last resort, though. I'm not entirely sure if Curse is a normal type or a ghost type. If it's a ghost type, we're not going to be able to use that. We can quickly check that. Okay, no, it is not a normal type. It is unknown in this. I do believe in later generations it becomes classified as a ghost type, but in this it's unknown. It should apply just fine. So that is the team we are going with. That is her team. Here we go. I've ran all the possible outcomes and data through Wiz and Boomstick. Haha. And as long as we have PM7, M&J TV, and Pimp Knight's Blessing, we're gonna win this Pokemon battle. So let's just dive straight into it. I had other weird things I was planning on doing there. I don't feel like doing it. So here we go. Oh, before we get too much further in that, I need to turn this on. We do have the wrong thing that I just clicked. Yes, we have an evil Miltank here that we're going to put on screen, along with a TKO counter. I am going to have to do that in real time. I don't feel like doing the edits later. I don't want to lose count or anything, and hopefully I can remember to do that as the battle's going on and as we're losing Pokemon. But yeah, let's jump right into it. So we got Rickroll leading the charge here. He's going to go up against the Clefairy first. My plan for dealing with the Clefairy is just to spam Rock Throw. I don't really want to use up any other abilities on the Clefairy. We do have Magnitude on there. And this may... Okay, so her defense went up. And we missed there. Skull Bash. It doesn't have Skull Bash. What the heck? Double Slap's not going to do much to us. Okay, so the Clefairy, pretty simple, went down straightforward. We're just going to keep Rickroll out. I want to try and get the accuracy down. That was not the plan. Oh, here we go. Right to rollout, first thing. Hopefully... Yep, the rollout's starting to escalate. And the rollout missed, that's good, that's very good for us. Stomp, that can cause us to flinch. We did not flinch. I want to keep spamming this until we get the message that the accuracy can't fall any further. Okay, there goes Rickroll. That's fine. It's a sacrifice I was willing to make. So far it hasn't used Milk Drink, which is kind of surprising. So now we're going to start spamming Poison Sting. See if we can get the poison off. And still not using your Milk Drink. There we go, we got the poison. Up, there it goes, Milk Drink. Luckily it is poisoned. We do have a super effective attack. Milk Drink again. Stomp did a heck of a lot of damage there. Oh! Wow, there you go. All that prep and talk, and see, I had a feeling, because, you know, I've been talking it up and how difficult this fight is. I had a feeling it was going to prove to be a pushover. And that's exactly what happened. It ended up being just a pushover. I remember that fight being way different 23 years ago. Wow, that was way easier than I remember it being. We did go straight for dealing with her accuracy. We lowered her accuracy first thing, so once that rollout missed, it was pretty much going to be, I was pretty sure it was going to be game over there because, you know, with the accuracy being so low, that means the rollout probably wasn't going to escalate to the point where it's just one shot, one shot, one shot. So that was my plan going into that. Originally, I was thinking we're going to try and get the poison first, but then I thought about it in the heat of the moment. I was like, no, we need to get that accuracy down so that the rollout doesn't absolutely destroy us. And as we got it lower and lower in health, I was like, where's the milk drink? Like, it hasn't drank milk yet. Hasn't refilled its HP. And then it did happen. I was like, oh, okay, so we're still good. We've already got the poison off. We got a fighting type move that we are using against that. It is doing pretty decent damage. Yeah, honestly, I'm really surprised. That was far easier than I remember it being. Now, again, I don't know if this emulator has any kind of changes towards that fight, but obviously not. I mean, that was very anticlimactic. Like, we just took care of business straight up. Yeah, so for all the talk about how difficult this particular fight is, this particular Pokemon challenge, yeah, that was kind of a pushover. But honestly, I remember that fight being a lot worse. It may just be because, you know, it has been 20 years, 23 years. I've had 23 years of Pokemon battling to go through and think about and redo and adjust teams and rethink strategies. Again, most of the time I am only a Pokemon game player. I don't get into the competitive, so I don't do like verses and everything against other people, especially when they use like very gimmicky things that you can't do anything about. Like, that's why I brought up Pimp Knight. Pimp Knight does a lot of that, where he does some gimmicky things and then just absolutely destroys people, and people are like, what can I do against that? Yeah, that's why I don't do, like, competitive Pokemon, because there's just certain things that it just feels like you're cheating. Like, it doesn't feel like you're giving the other player a fair chance. But yeah, there you go. We beat Whitney on the first try. Wow. First try, that is... Like I said, I had a feeling that this was gonna be kind of funny. We didn't even have any major issues. We did lose... Let me take care of that right now. We did lose exactly one. We lost exactly one, but that was a purpose-driven loss. Like, we were sacrificing Geodude to try and get the accuracy down. I did not care about actually beating it, I just wanted the accuracy down so that we could. Yeah, so... Now what? Alright, so I gotta get to editing this video, get it to you guys out on Friday. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope your Pokemon journey is going strong. And go catch them all. God bless, and I'll see you next time. Bye!